guys, it's your girl April, and I'm back with another video. So today's topic's kind of gonna be crazy, and it's something that I enjoy talking about because I think it's weird as hell, but that's how I dated a serial killer. So make sure to hit that post notification button and thumbs it up because this video is gonna be jam-packed and super cool. It's also kind of sad about what I went through, but it's kind of like a teaching moment because I'm in a better relationship now. So yeah. First of all, how it started was my ex best friend met this guy in a mental hospital, and she wanted to go hang out with him, and to be able to do that, his brother had to drive him, and I had to go to the mall to hang out with her, and she wanted to hang out with him alone, so I had to sit and hang out with his brother. And so we get to the mall. My mom dropped me and her off. They're like, no meeting up with boys, da 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 da. We're like, we're not meeting up with boys, don't worry about it. You know, being 14-year-olds, obviously we're meeting up with boys because that's just how we are. And so she meets up with him and they walk off, and I'm just stuck standing there with his brother, and I'm like, all right, so do you just want to go sit inside? And he's like, cool. And I'm like, cool. So we go sit inside and we're quiet for about like 2 to 4 minutes, and then I spruce up a conversation. I do not remember it by my head, and we just kick it off from there. I remember I went on his phone and went on a Snapchat and sent his sister a video and sent his brother a video and sent my best friend a video of me just on his phone, and that's just kind of how it started. And then after that, my parents were like, where are you, who are you with, like da 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 da. And so they wanted to be cute and make our parents mad, and they walked us to the car, and I never heard the end of it until we got home from my father. What are you doing? You don't know those guys, they could have kidnapped you, da 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 da. And I was like, Dad, don't worry about it, I wasn't gonna get kidnapped, you know, being my naive little 14-year-old self. And so then after that, her and the guy ended up breaking up for a day because they were on and off for a while. And the brother and I ended up hitting it off. So I was like, why should I stop this if you're, you know, on the outs? Because I actually like this dude. And so I told him to come over to my house. And keep in mind, my house is 30 minutes away from his. So he drives 30 minutes to my house in the middle of the night. Because my parents are strict, he has to park his car about a block or two away from my house, walk through the woods to get to the side of my house, and then climb through my window. And so he climbed through my window, and I was like, hey, you know, and he sat on the bed, and, you know, it's a little awkward. And then I send my friend a video of us, and she gets mad because she wanted his brother, and they're not together. So she decides to snitch on me and tell my mom. And I was like, dude, what the hell? So I told my mom before she could, so I wouldn't be in that much trouble. So I ran out there. I was like, Mom, come here. And I go in the room and I go, there's a guy in my room. And she goes, what? And I go, yeah, there's a guy in my room. I'm telling you this because I don't want Maddie to tell you, because I know when she tells you, she's going to lie to you. Excuse me for saying names. And she goes, okay. And so she's like, he needs to get out now. And so I guess she goes out and tells my father. And he's yelling at me, and I'm sitting in the living room, and he hears the yelling, so he kind of starts to creep out the window. So I run outside to the front yard, and my dad's chasing after me, but I don't know that, and he's climbing up my window, and I run around to the corner, and he stops, and I look, and I don't see my dad, and then he just stops, and we're hugging for about like a minute, 2 minutes, and then I turn around again, and my dad's like running outside the front door. Keep in mind, my dad's like 50 something right now, no, like 63, and he's running. And so I tell him, like, go, and he runs through wood. I guess he tripped over a log, twisted his ankle, and he drives 30 minutes back home. And so then, like, you know, infatuated by this guy who drove 30 minutes just to see me, didn't even get to do anything, you know, just infatuated by him. And so then I told my mom, I was like, Mom, like, I'm really like this guy, and I want to date him, and I want him to come around more. And she's like, okay, he asked to meet your father. So I'm like, FML, guy that my dad chased out of my house basically has to meet him. Okay, Keep in mind, it was dark, it was nighttime, so thank God my dad didn't recognize him. But they went to go have lunch at Freddy's. And, you know, he's like, hey, I'm going to go meet your dad. I'll talk to you later. And I was like, okay, cool. Let me know how it goes. So, like, an hour goes by. My dad's not home. I haven't heard from him. Another hour goes by. My dad's not home. I haven't heard from him. So, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, my God, my dad killed this guy and is disposing of his body. Like, what the heck? And so then I heard, like, the door close and I ran outside. I heard the door close and I ran outside. And I go, how was it? And he's like, it was good. And I was like, okay, do you like him? He's like, that's for him to know, and that's for me to know, and for you to find out. And I'm like, Dad, let me know. And I called him, and he's like, ask your dad. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting no answer from both you guys, so what the F's going on? He liked him. At the time, he was in the National Guard, and so my dad liked that. He had 2 jobs. My dad liked that. He could drive, you know, It's because he was over the age of 20. No, he was 20. So my parents, you know, wanted to make sure that their 14-year-old daughter was okay dating this 20-year-old. Now, I know that sounds gross. I know it sounds horrible. Keep in mind, there is such thing as the Romeo and Juliet law. At the age of 13 and up, they could only be 3 years older and 3 years younger. I know that he was a lot more than 3 years, but I also had my parents' consent to date this guy. So, in the eyes of the law, they couldn't do anything about it because my parents are completely okay with it. And we weren't having sex at the time. So then, you know, he starts coming around more. Instead of through the window, he walks through the front door. And my parents start liking him, and it was going pretty good. And then I went to go meet his family, and I found out that his dad beats his mom. So that's why we never really hung out at his house, because it was kind of a hostile place and situation. And so I was, you know, just a little, like, uneasy at his house. We all always hung out at mine. My parents basically treated him like his son. And so with the violence going on at his house, he started to take it out on me. I would playfully punch him, and he'd end up punching me really hard back. And then we'd end up, like, fighting, and he'd end up, like, beating the crap out of me. Or I'd make a comment and he'd slap me for it because it made him mad or something. So it got violent. And keep in mind, he's in the National Guard. So he's trained a lot more. He's put me in a chokehold before one time. So it was, like, really scary. He's pepper sprayed me. So it wasn't really good, but from the outside looking in, it looked perfectly fine. But from the inside, it was the worst relationship ever, just, like, towards the end, because I dated this guy for 6 months. So, like, within, like, 3 months, you know, that's kind of when it started, and it just kind of progressed. And then he became a stalker. When school starting up, I told him, I was like, hey, I have school. I want to let you know that you're not my first priority anymore, because school is important to me. I want to get my education. And he's like, okay, yeah. So I reconnected with a really good friend out of high school. That I knew in middle school when I was going in high school. And I was like, hey, like, you want to hang out? She's like, yeah, of course. Like, let's hang out. So I went over to her house and hung out with her, and I told him, and he's like, all right. And so then I told him, like, hey, I was going to the mall with her family. He's like, I'll meet up with you there. And I was like, no, I'm just hanging out with her family. You're going to walk around the mall. And so after we get out of eating at Mimi's Cafe, I am walking with her, and I start to hear a loud roar. And I'm like, it kind of sounds like my boyfriend's truck. Like, you know, and it is. He's been at the mall the whole time that I had been there. Because at the time, I thought it was cute to have a tracking app. So my boyfriend's phone, you know, to like, oh, you're on your way here. So we did have a tracking app on each other. So he did know where I was, because I was stupid and forgot to turn it off. So he was following me. And so her and I were going in and out of stores, ducking and trying not to, like, see him and everything. And then finally we got in her parents' car and drove off, and I turned off my location and everything, and he didn't know where I was. And they called me that night, and he was crying because he wanted to hang out with me and everything, but he couldn't. And I was like, I was hanging out with my friends. Like, I haven't seen this girl in a while. Like, I don't have actual friends because everyone here thinks I'm crazy. So, like, you know, it was good to hang out with her. And so then we were good. And then I go to school, and I meet my friend Lexi that I hadn't seen in forever. And I told him that she wanted to hang out with me. Now, I said it like that because if I said I wanted to hang out with her, he'd pull the, well, why don't you want to hang out with me? Why do you always want to hang out with your friends? Your friends are more important than me. So I would always say when it came to my friends, oh, they want to hang out with me, so that he would feel bad for saying no because I hadn't seen this girl in a while. So we hung out, and she just checked her inbox in Facebook, where people request to message you. And apparently he messaged her like, hey, I know she doesn't want me messaging you because she doesn't want to mess up your guys' friendship. But, I was supposed to hang out with her. When school's starting, I don't get to see her anymore. And So basically, he was like trying to make her feel like shit so she wouldn't hang out with me. And she called me the other day about it and was like, I didn't see this message until now, and I'm rolling on the floor laughing because this is hilarious. So I just thought that was something funny to add. Anywho, so I hung out with her, and he was mad, blowing up my phone, and then he blocked me because I wasn't responding in time. But he would always block me on Facebook, but like leave my phone number unblocked, because then I'd call him, yelling at him for blocking me, and then he'd unblock me and we'd be fine. He'd just get jealous because I wasn't spending all my time with him. So then, like, around the time of summertime, because that's when the Grape Festival is, we went to the Grape Festival, we met his grandparents, and then we went into the middle of nowhere to shoot his gun. I've never felt so unsafe in my life, because at this time he was abusive and he did have an AR-15, but he wasn't being abusive with that gun, so I wasn't really scared. I was just, scared that there was a gun in the hands of somebody who I knew was violent. So I definitely was scared, but I wasn't that scared because, I know this boy loves me, so like, why would he try and kill me? But then also, if somebody loves you, why would they lay their hands on you? So yeah. Anywho, we did that, and then a couple weeks later, I just like kind of can't focus, on school, and then also like entertaining this man 24/7. Keep in mind, first day of high school, I was late to 3 of my classes because he wouldn't stop blowing up my phone and wouldn't stop talking to me because he missed me so much. So I was like freaking out because I was walking to the wrong classrooms and everything, and he was messaging me and blowing up my phone. I was like, leave me alone, I'm trying to get to class, like, leave me alone. He's like, I'll come to school and get you, we can go get food. I was like, no, like, I'm trying to go to school, like, can you leave me alone for a day? He got mad and cried about it, and baby, like, I miss you, and so later that week, I just kind of got fed up with it, and so I broke up with him before I got on the bus to school. And at that time, my phone didn't have like service, so like after I left Wi-Fi, I kind of cut off. And so then I got home, and he ended up being home, so I got off the bus and I was like, shit, I'm in for an earful or an ass beating. And he gets out of his car, and I walk up, and he just starts talking to me and asking me questions, and I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore, like, it's stupid, like, you're mean, you're rude, like, you're not like how you used to be, you're treating me like shit and everything. And at that time, my backpack was in the back of his truck because I just threw it in there and was sitting on the edge of it and talking to him. So then I got down and I turned around to grab my backpack. When I turned back around, he had his gun pointed at my face. And like, when they tell like fight or flight, I was like scared shitless. And I was like, get that out of my fucking face. I was like, get that out of my fucking face. I was like, I'm gonna go grab my dad. And my dad scares the shit out of my boyfriends, apparently. I don't know why. And my dad, I know you're not. But so he just like looked at me, and I was like, I'm gonna scream for my fucking dad, and my dad's gonna come and shoot you, because like, what kind of dad's just gonna sit there and try to talk like a regular person when you have a gun pointed at their daughter? So I was like, my dad's gonna come and shoot you, like, get the fuck out of my face, like, So he puts the gun in the back of his car and then like squeals off, roaring his engine, squealing his tires. And I was like, okay, so I'm done with him. Washed all the clothes that I had that were his, still wore them because they were cute as hell and looked really good on me. And yeah, so then a couple weeks later, I get a text that says like, I'm coming over to grab my fidget spinner. And I was like, why? I was like, you can go buy another fucking fidget spinner from Walmart. You don't have to come back to my house. He's like, I want that one. And I was like, you can literally go buy this exact one at Walmart. He's like, no, I'm coming to get that one. And I was like, well, you're not getting it because I'm not going to see you. So I literally take all the clothes that I had from him, put them in a bag with the fidget spinner, and have it on the garage, like have it sitting right in front of the garage door, like with the garage closed, like doors locked, everything, because he's not seeing me. So this man knocks on my front door, knowing and seeing that the fidget spinner is in the front freaking yard, on the freaking garage, sitting on the pavement, waiting for him to come pick it up. Knocks on my front door asking for it. My dad's like, who is it? And I'm like, it's so and so. And he's like, oh. And I just shut the door because my dad at the time didn't know, and he also didn't know that we were broken up. So like, I didn't really disclose that I was going through abuse or anything to my parents until a while after, which I mistaked on. I should have let them know beforehand. Even though they kind of did see it happening, I would pull it off as like play fighting, you know. But then my dad's like, hey, like, I don't want you hitting my daughter. Like, play fighting or not, don't hit my daughter. So yeah. So then he was like, where's my fidget spinner? I was like, it's on the garage. Like, why are you asking me? Like, it's obvious right there. And I'm walking out and I'm like telling him, like, get the fuck away from my house, like, get the fuck out of here, like, da-da-da-da. And he has his new girlfriend in his car. And I think it's funny because this bitch is big. Okay, she's a big girl. At the time, and right now I have nothing against big women, keep that in mind, but at the time I had something against this big woman because she was dating my ex-boyfriend and, you know, acting all snotty. Like, she was sitting in this front seat looking at me like proud to be there, and I was like, you know, pissed. So I was like, leave my house and don't ever come back. And he's like, I'll come back whenever I want. And I was like, no, the fuck he won't. And he just sped off with her, and they were laughing and stuff, thought it was funny, and I was like, whatever. So I texted her and I was like, you know, he's mine, like, he'll always be mine. And she's like, oh, you think you're funny because you're a skinny bitch, like a skinny, beautiful, like, black bitch. I was like, no, but thank you for the compliment, sweetheart. So that's how we ended. So then, me being a stupid girl, like a year or two later, I go to hang out with his brother and my friend, and I'm like, are you sure he's not gonna come home? Like, please make sure he's not gonna come home. And they're like, he's not gonna come home, he's not gonna come home. And so I'm sitting in the room chilling, and it used to be his room. So like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, everything's still the same from when I was dating him, and it's weird, it's bringing back flashbacks. The bed felt the same, it was so freaking weird. And I hear the front door open, and then I hear it close, and I hear him go, hello, like he does. And I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So I'm eating spaghetti at the time, and he walks in, and I look at him, and I have spaghetti hanging out of my mouth. And he just looks at all of us and goes, oh, hey. And then walks out. And I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Like, my ex is here. Like, this is weird as hell. Like, what the frick's going on? And so he just comes in the room and we all just kind of sit and hang out. And it was really weird. And then I leave. And then we come back like a day later and they end up hanging out. And him and I end up hooking up. And that was the biggest mistake of my lifetime. I shouldn't have done that. I regret it. And then his girlfriend, who I thought they broke up, she texted me and she's like, how could you sleep with him? We've been trying to have a baby and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, I didn't know you guys were trying to have a baby, like, but he can be yours. Like, I don't want him. It was like a lapse of judgment. Like, I was stupid for doing it. Like, I shouldn't have even done it. So yeah. So a couple months after that, I guess they broke up and she started dating somebody else but didn't let him know. So they were still together, but she was dating somebody else. So to her they were broken up, but to him they were together. It was bad communication. So I guess he goes home to their house and walks in on her cheating on him with another female, and walks back to his car, walks up and shoots the girl and his girlfriend. The girlfriend survives, the girl does not. And then they go on a manhunt for him. And I know I shouldn't feel sorry for this man because he put me through so much, and this was my first real relationship and it really sucked. But like, I know his background. His parents were on drugs. His dad beat his mom. Like, his dad beat him. Like, he never really had the good life. So, like, mentally he's screwed up in the head. I already knew that, like, halfway in a relationship. Obviously, as I was getting beaten, I knew that this dude wasn't who he really was. So, you know, they catch him and he goes to prison for capital murder. Then he decides to kill somebody in prison. And yeah, so him a serial killer. Now, do I regret dating him? No, because now, being that person, I kind of want to be a behavioralist. I want to deal with serial killers and psychopaths because I know that they have had it hard, and there's a reason why they're not wired correctly and why they act the way they act, and I just kind of want to study that. But anywho, that is my video on how I dated a serial killer. I've had very, very, very eventful relationships. If you guys want to know about how I've dated a drug dealer, how I've dated a bummy ass dude and lived at the shed with him, how I've dated, you know, other weird people, let me know. I will drop those videos anytime because I love sharing my stories. But yeah, make sure to thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on your post notifications because videos are going to be fun and posted all the time. And you killers, I don't mean like actual killers, have a wonderful day.